Shazam issue 1, Mark Waid writing with Dan Mora on the art. And first thing I'll say on this is that Dan Mora, I think it's maybe because it's different colorists, but the colorist having more of a watercolor look, I immediately went, wait, is this Dan Mora? You sure?
I did the same thing. And when we talk to our favorites, usually Dan Mora's a lock when it comes to art.
Oh,
and I don't know if that's true this week.
Well, it's not to say that it's bad. Like, it's very good. It fits the tone that it's going for, and I could definitely recognize some of his line work as the book went on.
Mm-hmm.
But the first couple of pages, especially like Captain Marvel's face, I was kind of like, oh, like that doesn't look like Dan Mora to me. But I think it's just down to the coloring and how it's shaded differently to normal.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly going for. I mean, I would already say World's Finest was pulpy with his art.
Yeah.
But this is going for more of a whimsical pulpy. It's a little bit different.
It starts with Billy riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex through the jungle.
As Shazam, no, not as
right. That's right.
Not as Kid Billy. Yeah.
I just hook this to my veins, please.
So here's the thing: this arc is called Meet the Captain, and it sets up a little bit later that that Freddy and some of the others have started calling him Captain, and they imply that there's like a little story that set this up that he'll explain it later. He's too embarrassed to go into it just now. So there's going to be a story reason why he's getting called Captain, which is obviously a reference to the fact that he used to be called Captain Marvel. But what I like about it, other than just the fact that it's nice to go back to something kind of like Captain Marvel, is that he does kind of acknowledge that it's nice to have a name that he can use that's not the magic word that changes him back into being Billy.
Which, I know why DC changed it because of Captain Marvel over at Marvel. However, changing his name to Shazam instead of something like Captain Thunder or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be good. Captain Thunder, that'd work.
Right? Like, that's his magic word, though. So that's it was always the problem with Freddy when he was Captain Marvel Jr. is the word Captain Marvel is what would change him into that. So it was just, again, golden age silliness that when you look through it with modern eyes, you're just like, okay, how do we fix this?
I never really thought about it before this, though, but as soon as he said that in the narration, I was like, oh yeah, well, did someone ask his name when he's Shazam? Like, what does he say? Because he can't.
There's a wizard that gave me my powers. We share a name. I cannot say it, though.
Does he just spell it out like a cheerleader?
Right. Well, and this is where I think Mark Waid's the perfect person to make sense of all of the stuff that's been going on, because I always thought that it was weird that the wizard was also named Shazam when it's the word's an acronym for the different gods that they give him his powers. So it was just like, well, did the wizard take that name after the different gods or what? Like, and here it seems like we're gonna get, a slight difference with him being called the captain, and I think we're gonna delve into the wizard and all that stuff.
Yeah. So he's riding a T-Rex, and it turns out that this is a space T-Rex that is the child of two other T-Rex who have got a spaceship, and they're thankful that Captain Marvel has brought them back their baby T-Rex. And they offer him some tea, which is disgusting because it's made out of some weird alien thing.
Sounds like droppings of some kind, so miss me with that.
So there's a panel in this book, about 3 or 4 pages in, where 2 T-Rexes are holding a giant tea kettle or teapot, and like Captain Marvel's holding this giant teacup, and they're just having a casual chat with him. And this just sets up, okay, Mark Waid's not shying away from the silliness. He's going all in. He's going balls deep.
Yep. There's a reason why back in the day Captain Marvel was known as the Big Red Cheese, and I feel the more we lean into this, the more we can differentiate him from than Shazam or Captain Marvel, whatever we're calling him, is just Magic Superman. It's like Superman's not going to go have tea with space tyrannosaurs. Much as I would love that.
Yeah, and he also points out at one point in this, he complains he doesn't have X-ray vision. Again, it's not a big thing, but it's just to, make sure it's not Superman. Like,
right. Differentiation. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things, so he's at the Rock of Eternity, and he's hanging out. One of the little things here that I don't know if it's ever been brought up before, this may be something that Mark Waid's pulled from somewhere else, but I love this idea that the wisdom part of Shazam is why he always ends up turning back into Billy, because the wisdom lets him know that he should turn back into a child so he can grow up properly, so he can be a kid, he can go to school, he can learn, he can do the things that are responsible. the
Right.
wisdom is this I mean, he describes it as a nagging voice because he's like a kid and he doesn't want it, but that wisdom is what ensures that he always does go back to his normal life. That's actually genius.
I love that because he makes it like it's not intelligence, right? He doesn't have like super intelligence, but it's making the right decision, like turning back into Billy. And like when he compares it to that nagging voice, it's like I need to eat my vegetables. I don't want to, but deep down they're good.
Yeah.
So he needs to experience life as a kid still.
Yeah, that was all good stuff. They do kind of establish right now that none of the other family can turn in. Like his powers aren't working correct, or they're not working the exact same way ever since Lazarus Planet.
Right.
And as a result, the others, like, so Freddy, and he feels guilty about Freddy because Freddy obviously loves being the superhero version because he really gets to walk without his crutches, never mind have superpowers. So obviously that's something they want to fix. And I feel like this is, and he does mention in the narration because I was a little bit worried that this was going to just kind of shy away from the family stuff. But and even though they're not really featured in this other than Freddy, in one panel of Mary, and obviously we like Mary a lot. We love that miniseries, so we do hope she gets a bit of time later. But it does at least mention all the others. It mentions Pedro, it mentions Darla, it mentions Eugene. So it does probably mean that by the end of the arc, maybe, or if there's more after this, if they do get an extension, that there probably will be a big moment where he's able to give his powers back out again to everyone. Well,
and the fact that they brought Taki Tani in as well as to help out his foster parents,
and that was something that he was brought in in the modern continuity in the John stuff, right? I want to say,
because he came from one of the wildlands.
That's right.
Yeah. And so the fact that Waid brings him in, he's like, it's right, he's a talking tiger, but he cooks real well, and the parents need a little bit extra help with all those mouths to feed. So, I just like the idea that Tawny's there now too. But again, not shying away from the silliness. He didn't need to justify a talking tiger in a green suit. He's just like, he's here now, and he's my friend.
Yeah. So when they leave the cave of the Rock of Eternity, though, I should say, the wizard and some godlike looking figure.
Yeah, someone, we don't know. I mean, looks very much like Zeus or Jupiter, one of the big gods.
Yeah, you could tell me something like Hercules maybe, and I'd believe you if you said that to me. Yeah. But they're basically talking about how Billy's been a useless little shit, and he needs to be like brought down a peg or two effectively.
He's cluttering the Rock of Eternity with his, all his collections that he's done from his, things that he's gone and done. Yeah,
we have to restore the honor of the gods because that little shit's ruining everything. So that kind of sets up something, and we see Billy at school, we see him at home, he's at gym. It points out, when he's a kid, he's not like, he's shit at track, he's not very good at climbing the rope. All really simple stuff, just again differentiate between like kid version of Billy and Shazam. But we got all this stuff. It mentions that he's actually making a little bit of money by like doing news reports online of what Shazam's up to or what Captain Marvel's up to, because obviously no one's going to suspect that it's him in secret because he's a kid, right? Whereas if Clark suddenly started having all these scripts on Superman, it might look a bit fishy, Well,
it's always that thing with Peter Parker, right? Why he's able to get the good pictures of Spider-Man, it's because he sets his camera up to get the good shots.
Absolutely, but people assume he's holding the camera.
Right.
So there's a big earthquake in California. Shazam flies off to deal with it. And when he gets there's people under rubble. So we get some heroic panels. Art's obviously very beautiful. Dan Mora doing his thing.
Yep.
And the big cliffhanger of the issue is that when he saved a few people and he's asked on camera about coming to save people, he goes out of character and starts calling people peons. They should be on their knees begging with gratitude. Don't touch me with your filthy hands, like stuff like that. Who do you worms think you are? And then he realizes, and he's like, it's like something's made him say that. He didn't voluntarily do that, but he's like, what did I just do? I mean, I think the obvious assumption for us is that the wizard is up to this. This is his doing.
Yep. And I'm wondering if this is with the whole idea with the gods, because from what I read in that Lazarus Planet, the Revenge of the Gods, is they want to return to a state of, fear, kind of. They're the ones that are powerful. You should be worshiping because we're scary. And so I'm wondering if that's kind of what this is going to play into, and that, Billy's going to have to show, that as Earth's mightiest mortal, he's more akin to being the mortal than just an agent of the gods.
It's a very interesting thing for Billy to like have to like fight against, is like them trying to like turn him into a different personality and for him to stand his ground and try and not let that happen.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too if this is more of, because remember in Kingdom Come that Mark Waid wrote, Billy ends up being like, not seduced, right? Because that has a different thing, but he's able to be talked into fighting Superman by Luthor, right? He's able to, like, he's the representative for mankind, not this alien, and we get that whole fight between, Clark and Shazam. At the end of Kingdom Come. So I'm wondering if this is kind of leaning into that, this so what I'm looking for.
Coercion?
Yeah, almost like, not even a coercion, because that would mean that he's being tricked. Because Billy knows this is all wrong, right? But it's almost like
he's kind of being
poisoning him.
He's kind of being tricked in a way though, because he didn't mean to say it. He's kind of forced. So
yeah. But it's like he's being poisoned,
I would say it's even more like he's been mind controlled for like a minute.
Yeah. What is the word I'm looking for? I'll figure it out later.
Possessed.
Kind of, but no, it's not like that. It's like when someone, is able to get their hooks in you, and corrupt. Is it corrupted? I guess corrupted would be the closest. Yeah.
I don't know. You must have plotted that. I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, the art's very good throughout. I think it's a little bit different from, and I think it's a lot of the colors more than anything else that's making it different from other Darmora stuff, but it fits what it's doing. The red on the suit looks great when he's flying around and he's doing stuff. I think Waid is perfect for this character. I thought the tone was excellent. It takes its time to sort of, give us a bit of fun, silly Captain Marvel stuff with the dinosaurs, set up where the family is right now, set up where Billy's life is like right now, really establish it for people who have never read Shazam before. What this is when he's a kid, he's a normal weak kid. When he's Shazam, he's this grown superhero, but he's still got the mind of the kid.
Right.
I thought it did a lot to set him up for people who are new, but also just to reestablish things and like I say, like talking about the wisdom, and that's why he turns back into a kid. It added some extra little things in there that even if you've read a lot of Shazam, I think that was a great little detail.
Correct, yeah. It made it comfortable for as a long time Shazam reader, that I've tried to read all the Shazam books since I've been reading comics again, as far and few between as they've come out. And then for like new time people, right? Because all the continuity from the last couple of years is still intact. It's not like it's a fresh reboot, or we're starting back from scratch. So it was equally for me as much as the person that's never read it before. So I like that.
Yeah, and obviously I think the background plot of like what the gods and the wizard even specifically being maybe the kind of the key antagonist, at least for now. Maybe they'll introduce someone else as well later, but taking a nice break from Savannah and Mr. Mind and whoever else. That's an intriguing antagonist, and I think like the art is really good in that page where they're in the shadows talking. They do feel kind of imposing and creepy and whatever. So, I really like this first issue. Not surprised by that, but this could end up being Mark Waid's best book since he's come back to DC, if this is a decent indication. And I've enjoyed everything else he's done to various extents, but
he's had very few whiffs since he's come back to DC.
So no, I'm excited for issue 2. I'm on board. This is a successful issue 1. I'm happy. No, I'm surprised again, but happy to see it all the same. What are you rating Shazam issue 1? 8.5. Yeah, I'll agree with the 8.5.
Also, I just want to throw in there too that this made me, not that there's anything wrong with Billy, I think I just prefer Mary as a character to Billy. And I just don't know if that's the whole teenage boy aspect of him, right?
Well, Mary's a bit more mature, and I think that's something that at least felt fresh for the lead Shazam character for at least an arc. Yeah, so just Mary as a character, like through the stuff that I've read, and when in Deceased and that whole side, I was like, I think I like Mary a little bit more in the Shazam family. Not that there's anything wrong with Billy, but yeah. No, I mean typically because they want to portray him as a kid He likes goofy shit. He has a very specific type of thing that they sort of focus on.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but obviously with Mary you get to do the in that case it was college, but even if you do like an earlier story, she's still in high school. She's still older than the others. So there's a different type of character there, on top of just the different gender and all the other things that make her different. But
for sure.
Yeah.